Older Kid Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 26th episode of the Powder Cake Podcast.
The show that breaks through the clouds of tilt to shine beams of improvement down on us all. What do you do?
I just want to light a candle for CLG before you do anything else. You know, startup is joined. The end is near.
Gone.
Oh, this is funny in my head, but
So this show has said two things about esports in the past. We tend to avoid esports, tend to avoid talking about the pro scene, but we said, number one, we like CLG. And number two,
we hate Startup.
hate
We had an entire episode where we literally just trashed Startup.
Yeah, it was like tore into Startup, yeah. And,
we've had many an episode where Andrew's worn his CLG jersey in many an episode. Have you seen it? He has a white CLG zip up.
It's black.
Maybe you haven't worn it then.
Yeah. We literally... Okay, we should talk about what the main topic is first.
So yeah, today's main topic is resource distribution, which is an interesting one. Not going to say anything else on it. If you want to know what it means, you can skip ahead and there'll be a timestamp in the description so you can go directly into the main show. But anyway, back to the special time that it is right now. Yeah,
this is like Smithy's soul leaving and floating
this
out
is Smithy's,
to immortals.
This is the flame. Oh, it'd be great if it was lit at the start of the episode and I could blow it out. This is the flame of CLG right here, guys.
It'll be out by the end of it. Oh, yeah, it will be out by the end. It smells nice though. It smells like vanilla. So, hey, for our listeners who don't have video, Owen just lit a candle and then blew it out.
I heard the scrabbling.
People probably wondering where we were, exams and stuff. So sorry. Probably our biggest break so far. We apologise. Yeah. We've come to accept that maybe the greatest strength of our show isn't the regularity at which we release our episodes.
It's the mad genius.
It's the quality.
The inconsistent.
Quantity,
yeah.
But now on better news, we're in sunny Ireland. I'm putting my shades on.
We have our props here today, as you can see.
We've got a lot of bits today. This is my bit, and that's putting on sunglasses because it's really nice. It's absolutely gorgeous. We're wearing nice t-shirts. Usually this room is like freezing because we've only been recording like late summer to autumn to winter before, but it's really hot. I have a new dog. He's out there. But he's not allowed in here because he's completely insane.
Yeah, we're kind of in a little it looks kind of dark in here, but we're just shaded from the
sun doesn't reach
blazing sun outside. Yeah, but
League of Legends.
Yeah. So
before you go on, sorry. We got a iTunes review ages ago. April 5th, okay? So we're sorry, we took so long to get to you, Kelderon. So I'll make up for by reading out what Kelderon said. So much League media is steeped in hyperbole and toxicity. It's great to have a place to go for top-notch discussion on improvement as well as an interesting commentary on the state of League of Legends. Highly worth your time if you're looking to improve. If you just want to hear discussion on the league from hosts that display maturity. This is one podcast I'd recommend listening to from episode 1, the Powder Cake Podcast, a breath of sensible air in the chaos of the Leagosphere.
Oh, did you actually say that last
time?
Hell
yeah.
That's pretty fine.
So thank you. Yeah, I'm taking off my glasses because they got all like foggy. But yeah, thank you so much, Kelderon. As I said, I sound sarcastic when I read things out. But genuinely, sincerely, thank you. Anyone else, we really appreciate any positive reviews on iTunes, and if you do, we will read you out in the show. Yeah. Hopefully next time we don't take 2 months to do it. Most of that was the fact we took a month and a half break. And we forgot to read out Kelderon's review on the past.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's again, a little bit intermittent there, coming up towards the end of college semesters, so exams, study, all that. But we're heading into summer, feeling fresh. Andrew has nothing on for the summer, and no real commitments, just I was gonna say no real friends, but not much going on. So we'll definitely be chugging away this summer,
going away for a month in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
but apart from that, we'll get through some episodes before that.
No, definitely.
So League of Legends. What interesting apart from because that actually happened a while ago now. As of recent stuff,
still fresh in my heart.
See, I've been playing a huge amount, obviously, because of the exams and stuff. But one thing that happened recently is that Heimerdinger got updated. I don't know if you guys know, but Heimerdinger's kind of my boy. Probably the champion I've had the most success with in League of Legends.
I think Cassiopeia, similar.
Cassiopeia was like a 1 season wonder. Heimerdinger was like a 1 season and a half. Now he's coming back. But he's I think he might be broken, new Heimerdinger.
He's been reworked, yeah. So I have no idea what the rework is. I think 99% of the league population cares.
I think they will when
fire lasers slightly faster, slightly slower.
No. How it works is now Instead of his turret, the damage of his turrets wasn't in like the little shots they shoot all the time. It was always in the lasers they shot, which is like now and again. And now they're not there. Like they charge up by themselves really really slowly. But if you hit an ability, they shoot straight away. All of them shoot at the same time. So if you land an E on someone from like any distance, all your turrets shoot them. So basically, if you hit someone with an E, they're dead. I think it's really good. Heisendan said he probably thinks it's broken. So I'm hoping that no one realizes, even though I just said it on our podcast with millions of international listeners.
So he's more of a traditional mage, would you say now? Because he's more reliant on that kind of cooldown, rather than being just this little continuous annoying...
Yeah, they took damage, they took power away from his turrets. But they didn't really, because the power is still from the turrets, you just need to land the ability to get that. You know what I mean? It's just like, but he is more, that was intentional. They wanted him to be less kind of like set and forget and just put down the turrets and play and then just watch the damage roll on in. But he doesn't feel that different to play, he just feels a lot better than he was.
Yeah.
So, and you max W first now. So not only are you getting all that damage, you're getting more damage off your W. Because you don't use max turrets anymore because they've changed how the cooldown works. You still got like loads of turrets.
Fair.
So yeah, it's pretty nice.
So yeah, Harmony's been reworked. A couple of the changes, actually interesting changes are on, or at least we're posted on boards there. I'm going to say about a week ago, so again we're slightly late on it. But just came to my mind there, Kindred is getting a rework, which is fairly interesting. Yeah, about a week ago I'd say it was posted. So it's on PB at the moment. So obviously Vandro has done a video where, you know, he gets longer range than towers and all that good stuff. So basically just kind of messed her up a bit, wiggled around those.
Yeah, what is it? Could you explain this? Because I actually didn't.
So she now gets, whenever she got a mark, originally she didn't scale that much off marks, and then they changed it so she did. Because she was kind of broken when she first came out for quite a long time. But no, basically they changed her, so all her abilities scaled off her marks. She got bonus percentage, current health damage off marks. It was like 1% per mark. So if she got like 10 marks, she'd be doing a lot of damage. And now basically they've changed her, so instead of getting percentage health damage, she gets attack speed and range off her marks. And they've changed a couple of things. So her Q now, they've changed a lot of her numbers around. Her ult's still the same, which is interesting because a lot of people were kind of wondering if maybe they should have reworked it a bit because it was kind of a bit of a weird ability. But yeah, so basically all of her numbers have changed, so I can't really say what's good and what's not good, but the big change is that she doesn't scale with like percentage health damage, and she's going to be built a lot more like a traditional AD carry now, I believe. A lot of people are building crit on her, a lot of people are building large amounts of AD because also her abilities next scale off bonus have a higher AD scaling, but it's off bonus AD, so it's not off her original base AD, so building AD on her is actually pretty strong. So yeah, she'll probably look more like a traditional AD.
And she'll have infinitely scaling range there.
Infinitely scaling range. It sounds amazing. In reality, though, it's probably it is cool though.
Like in a 60-minute game, she'll just be ridiculous then. Not that we get 60-minute games
gets,
as often as people think in their head.
Yeah, if she gets a lot of marks. I'm not sure exactly what the ratio is. So she might just get like Caitlyn range when she gets, because she's pretty low range to start off with. So she might just get like Caitlyn range when she gets 5-10 marks. So.
What if she gets 15 marks?
No, but she might need 15 marks to get scaling range. It depends on what the numbers are.
20 marks.
Yeah.
We've never had infinite scaling range in games before.
No.
That's cool.
We do have the scaling health, we have the scaling.
Yeah, but range is like so much different. It's not just a number, there's a physical thing on the screen happening.
Yeah.
That's cool to me.
It is cool. And I still have a couple of problems with the rework, and that it was very much numbers based, and a lot of people, I kind of have, again, my name in League of Legends is a Kindred Spirit. It's not like I've been playing much or anything, but
it's called himself a Kindred Spirit.
So I'm always scared to jump into a normal and learn Kindred, because people are always like, whoa, we have a Kindred Spirit on our team playing Kindred in a normal, he better be a beast. And then I'm just like, I don't really know how to play this champion. But no, I mean, I do have some problems with it. They haven't really changed any of the, like thematically, Kindred was always meant to be like a real duality. There's a lot of duality to that champion, right? It was meant to be like
you're supposed to say them, not her.
Yeah, you're meant to say them, not her, and it was meant to be like, but the two parts of the champion are like one, and they kind of, as opposed to being one champion with a little psychic who kind of bites them for one of her abilities, and that's what she does at the moment, and they haven't changed that, so do have some problems with that, but we'll see that we work out.
I guess with that, they just kind of decided to make her lore subservient to her gameplay rather than if they felt if they wanted to make her lore stronger, would have made her gameplay worse. So unfortunately, it does result in stuff like us describing her pronoun as her, even though it's like two people.
Yeah, it's her and them.
Yeah, it's kind of like it'd be cooler if we were able to have a champion that was them. Just because that's a cool idea. But yeah, I'm sure
for
they'll have more
Han's eye,
efforts.
I mean, 2 champions? 1 champion? Are they?
They're two champions, though, unfortunately.
I know, I was joking, I know that.
It's not very funny. And next thing, why do I have Yoda down? See, I have these notes from like when we tried to record ages ago and it didn't happen. Like, Graves got his car back. Isn't that funny?
That was a while ago, Andrew.
I know, it's been a while since we had this show.
No, so, I mean, there's some kind of controversial. I mean, obviously, MSI just happened, which is interesting enough. Neither of us watched it. From what I heard, G2 did quite well. Surprise, surprise, SK2 won it in the end. Oh, I was going to say spoilers, but like, good on you for listening to a League of Legends podcast after MSI. I'm sure you're expecting spoilers. Yeah, and so nothing crazy with MSI, apart from the fact that G2 did surprisingly well, which is fantastic. You're a big team, bringing it out.
They usually fucking brick it at international tournaments as well.
Yeah.
That's what they're known for, is like destroying regional and just like fucking up once they get to international stage. That's cool.
Which is cool. Apparently, yeah.
But
Sven was usually crazy. Apparently, he was popping off and all that. Okay. Some controversial stuff about Krepo came out. I don't really think we're going to talk about it because we don't really know the full scoop.
Yeah.
But sounds pretty grim.
You can get away with it.
Well, that's a good thing. Is Fiddle.
That's
why
we shouldn't talk about it because
I don't really know enough to have a proper opinion, but I don't want to be like, oh, poor Krepo.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be
because some girl posted pictures he sent. If I was wondering, but like her age and stuff isn't necessarily there's a lot of rumors going around. So
yeah, but again, rumors will circulate if something like that comes out. So
probably
people will
doesn't
jump
matter. But yeah, everyone's like just talking about Krepo's penis in the Reddit thread. Everyone's like, whoa, I can't believe. Someone's like, that's really big. And someone's like, that's not that big. Like, dude, that's a really, there was like, it's not big. Yeah, they're like,
this is a family friendly podcast, Andrew. Let's keep it.
Let's swear all the time.
Not really.
Voice chat.
Yes,
that was talked about voice chat before.
No, that was an interesting. It was basically like a kind of an April Fool's, except not in April, where someone basically just posted. It was a guy who used to work for Riot or something, and I don't know why he works for like for Immortals or something, and it was like he just posted and was like, so Riot had decided that, or are looking at voice chat favorably following studies and stuff, and everyone was like, the whole suburb obviously was going. It's a big change, massive change to the game is voice chat. Like a big thing that really differentiates, ranked fives and stuff from, solo queue. Big thing, part of solo queue is that you're isolated and you're playing as a solo player.
And also League from like any other game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even like a lot of like Blizzard games have voice chat and all that. So like, there's a lot of discussion going on about it, and then it came out that it was just like made up.
Straight up lie.
Yeah, it was just so bizarre. It's not even like that far-fetched a thing, and it's not like people were like, it affected people that crazy. People were just like, that's kind of
got everyone's hopes up.
Yeah, so I think it merits a fair bit of discussion. Voice chat. It's like there's definitely pros and cons to it. Do I want to be talking to a 12-year-old Eastern European kid who's
nothing against Eastern Europe?
No, it's just there are stereotypical toxic like EUS player. I mean, definitely. I think it almost does. I don't know. I'm afraid to say too much because I've never really played a game with voice chat as a big part of it.
It's interesting. Like, see, because I kind of cut my teeth on Halo 3 and other Xbox games in which, you wouldn't have typing, you'd only have voice chat, and so that was like the way people communicate with each other. And it usually forms the fact that, like, I was like 13 at the time, so I was just like really conscious of a squeaky voice. You'd laugh at other people with squeaky voices. Because there's very reasonable bias against young people in these games because they're pieces of shit. 13-year-olds playing Halo and stuff. I guess that's how we communicate. But like when I think about it, I never really. I guess some people like going to like the competitive games in Halo, but like you have to wear your mic if you want to go into a competitive game. Like for like a 4v4, like MLG settings, like you need to wear your mic if you do that. Otherwise, why are you playing? What is the level? So I guess in that sense it wasn't. But like all my best memories of Halo 3 was like it wasn't mic'd up, but it was with friends in group chats. That's how we do with League as well. But I guess if you want to be like playing a high level. Yeah, I guess in Halo, if you wanted to play like high level competitive games, you were expected to have a mic on you. And League is as real time as Halo is, so the idea is you should be like stopping to type things to people. Like a bot lane in Challenger, if they're conceivably playing at the highest level of League of Legends as a solo queue rather than as a team game, it seems reasonable they should be allowed to communicate. But you shouldn't have to be using an external client to do it. They're kind of helping you like with this random person to be able to actually speak to each other and communicate. Like we're not imagining that if voice chat was brought in, all of a sudden everything would become this tactical like master plan.
Yeah, but there is like,
yeah.
so if let's say it does get to a state, or let's say voice is introduced, and people say, you know, basically, because you are then at a disadvantage if you're not using voice chat, right? Because you have less communication to an extent, in the game, slower communication anyway. I guess it almost becomes a thing where like it's awkward not to use it, even if you want to play without using voice chat. I mean, I guess it's kind of like a bit silly.
Yeah, it's like that's like the argument used for like.
But like, I would have said like maybe voice chat will lead to less toxicity because you're less likely to say horrible things to someone and like to say them. You know, if you're less likely to say get diseases, you know, I hope all your family die, etc. All the horrible things people say in League, because you know it's harder to say that, and I guess having that screen between you, that kind of barrier is lessened by the fact that you have to actually say it to someone, and the fact that 3 other people are there listening to you as well, and might, you know.
It's also way funnier.
But I also, that's almost because the fact that I haven't really used voice chat, I would expect it to lessen toxicity, and maybe there'd be awkward silences and stuff when people are annoyed and tilted, but it would lessen actual flaming. But again, like from like clips I see from like on like Reddit, or like people be like, I almost feel like, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't lessen to the extent that, because obviously it also is worse if someone is physically saying to you, or I mean, it's actually saying to you, like you are. Yeah.
It's really funny hearing people like playing and like you just hear just with their voice, their own little uncertainties, their own kind of like, you know, they might not get the language, or like they might.
I guess it also sounds dumber as well.
Yeah, they sound so, you hear their voice and everyone else, and you just hear someone kind of laugh, and they just. Whereas you know, there's like that cold, precise, typed language. There's no imperfections or anything because everyone talks perfectly.
But like it's also, I guess I always imagine like it's easier to kind of like, it's harder to sound to at least rationalize in your head if you're being toxic, like if you're like, you idiot, like you've lost this game, like to actually like say that, to be like, you idiot, you've lost this game for me, I've been in these promos for so long and you just lost this game for me with that bad gank, never come it again. Like it's hard to actually say something like that.
Wouldn't say this much.
And it just sounds dumb because it is dumb, obviously, and if you're typing it's dumb as well, but it's just harder to say.
So let's say we're probably broadly in favour of them, just say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think like having it as a feature is going to change. I mean, if it does change the game so much in such a negative way, like they can always remove it. And I feel like Riot are kind of hesitant to make changes like that.
That's something you probably wouldn't be able to undo though. It's like once you've unleashed those. What was this
Really?
phrase that? Yeah, you wouldn't be able
war.
to. Yes, you kind of chain them up again or whatever. I don't know. I think once they release something like that, I think particularly for like high level games, it would make like maybe high level streams and stuff more interesting. Because remember how interesting it is to watch like 5v5 ranked games?
Yeah.
Those are really fun to watch those streams. Like this idea, even it is a bit of a bad. It seems like kind of bad rep for Riot that this supposedly very competitive game at the very highest levels of solo queue, all the pros still describe as a complete shitfest, and they describe everyone's an idiot. Nothing's going on. It's just clan fiestas every game.
Yeah.
And us lower players don't think that say like, oh, we can see the high level.
But like,
but if they were at like high level communication stuff, like people don't necessarily say that. I don't know. I don't play this game. People don't necessarily say the same stuff about like stuff like Counter-Strike or things. People didn't necessarily say that about StarCraft that much. I think League is maybe a little bit alone in this idea that it's just clan fiestas all the way up and down.
I can't imagine though. I had this kind of perception of high level players where I don't know if they would want to be talking to the other 4 people.
They do. They're the ones who go for the stuff the most.
Well, no, I feel like a lot of high level players, first of all, there's a lot of kind of rivalry. First of all, the higher you get, obviously, the more you're going to know everyone in your games. And so most people in like challenger games will know pretty much everyone in their game. I do feel like often enough there'll be people who just don't like people on their team and won't want to talk to them. Like again, maybe this is just from me, but like often enough when I see a stream, I'll see someone say like, this guy is just terrible. This guy's terrible. Or this guy is like super toxic. Or this guy is, and then you say, well, if there's voice chat, then it's less likely to be toxic. Like, sure, you can call him terrible, but then he joins the voice chat. It's still going to be polite, still going to try his best. I don't know. I almost feel like in high level games, they generally know each other, and it's not that hard to get into Discord. Often enough, they're all like friends on Discord. It's just like it is kind of that they don't really want to be in voice chat.
It's different to just going to a game and just having your mic set up so you're talking naturally, and then like say, "Hi guys, do you want to get over?" Like it's a completely different thing.
Yeah,
Again,
that's why I feel like it's I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate there. So I do feel like if it's a feature, like I mean, if you really don't want to, you can just mute it. And if people are like, please get into chat, you just be like, sorry, I don't really want to, and that's not a big deal. People aren't gonna just be flaming you like shit in chat just because you're not in a voice chat. Like you can mute them and they can't get to you anymore. So I think generally it would probably be.
And the loudest voices for this are always like the Masters players or the ex-pros, the current pros.
The only thing I can possibly tell is that, especially when you're like just duo queuing, it's nice to be able to talk to your duo queue partner separately.
But you can still do that with voice chat. You just go into Discord.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't be in the voice chat and Discord.
Yeah, but that's the same situation.
Yeah, I know. But
that doesn't introduce a disadvantage by the fact that other people can talk to each other then.
Yeah, that's true.
Having separate party chats isn't like you'll lose that feature once you gain voice chat feature.
Yeah, that's true.
That was actually what happened in like Halo 5 then, once that came out. At that point, party chats had become such a thing that no one really used the game to voice chat anymore. Everyone's always in their own individual parties. That's an interesting thing, but not that this duo queuing, I don't know how frequent it is in League, but we should probably go on to our main topic.
Yeah, so again, it's episode 4. This topic was actually prepped, I'm going to say 4 weeks ago, ready to go. So forgive us if we're a little bit shaky on some of the specifics, but it'll come fully back to us. We've done work. So yeah, this topic is going to be resource distribution, which is an interesting one because obviously when you think of resource distribution, you're like what is this, like Farmville? What is this, like Stardew Valley or something?
What's Stardew Valley?
Yeah.
Do you play that game?
I just know it as a big old meme. So no, resource distribution is basically, obviously, the game is made up of many different resources. It's made up of gold, XP, buffs, and there comes many points in the game where, you have choices as to where the resources are allotted. Either you can take them yourself, you can give them to a teammate, and these two make fairly big differences. And a lot of people will, when you think about resource distribution, I think what immediately jumps to people's mind is, giving blue buff as a jungler to your mid laner. That's like classic. Like you're distributing a resource to another player. You are saying you're forsaking it yourself. You're saying, I will not take this. I'll give this to you because it will do more work for you. You will do more work with it, and it'll enable us to win this game through distributing resources correctly. Or I will take it myself because I need it to jungle correctly. Therefore, again, it's making a different decision in how to distribute that resource. A lot of people think about it that way, but they don't really. What people often will do, make the correct decision to give, let's say, their blue buff to their mage mid laner. They don't really think about why they're doing it and what impact it's having. And similarly, the resource distribution applies to many other ways in the game. As we said before, XP, gold, buffs are the 3 big ones. So sorry, I sneeze.
And if we want to find kind of one man who would tell us that there's no need to make this episode, who would tell us he knows exactly where the resources need to be distributed. He says, if you want to climb in solo queue, I will tell you how to distribute these resources. And that is the hero of the lower ranks, the Udyr aficionado.
I thought you were going to say Dardoch.
No, I love Dardoch now, he's the greatest player ever. Trick2G.
Yeah.
Trick2G, the jungler, so he's, and this is, I'm just going to present his point of view on this.
Haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, no, he's gotten kind of quiet. He obviously pretty well known guy, definitely in his day. Very well known for kind of giving advice on how to climb. He'd make all his videos like my way of doing things, like just do this in Udyr, this is how I climb, this is how you can climb too. He was pretty effective, he rose up ranks in a few accounts, he's a very good player. What he'd say is that basically, I don't give blue buff to my mid laner unless they're like 6-0. Like, I don't trust them with that. If I'm playing Udyr top lane, I don't bother going to my team. I need to maximise my own gold, so that's like, I need to be split pushing on them, I need to get my own way out, because I can't trust these further guys. They're randomness, they're variants, I can't trust them. I can trust myself to climb. That's why I need to be taking a lot of moves. And I said, so if you want to climb, guys, what you need to do is you need to follow what I'm doing. You need to take these camps, ignore the other team, take your blue buffs, don't trust your mid laner, it's fine. You can carry this game, it's up to you. He tells us not to make this episode. And this, I think, plays into... He
has told us, actually. He rang this in and said...
yeah, but we actually have him... I locked him outside, that's fine. But, yeah, so like... Yeah, what's it saying?
So yeah, this is basically, this episode is very much a counter argument to that whole methodology, where people go forward and say, you're the only one who carries solo queue. 4 of the players on your team are all monkeys. You're the only one who can carry. It's all up to you. You're the only person who should. If you're not going 10-0 every game, you don't deserve to climb, etc., etc. And that's very much the Trick2G, Dardoch. Because he's still dead to me. Real
almost the majority of the players.
Yeah,
see, like it's not necessary. It's just how people see the game, and it's kind of you can see on some level. It's like
true,
I don't want to be relying on these random players who often do really badly to carry me. I can trust myself to do it, and so that's kind of just a wider meta argument that kind of circles around most kind of advice in League, and circles around this topic in particular. And so we're gonna rebut that as you just said. So
again, this is basically talking about how you can win the game through ways that aren't necessarily all you. And people always say like, oh, you know, I can't climb the support, etc., etc. And a lot of people will, again, bring a counter argument, will say, well, actually, by enabling the other players on your team to perform to their best, to put them in a position to perform, again, to shield up your AD carry, to give him gold, to give him essentially what supports are very much doing is distributing resources to their carries. Supports will roam mid to give their mid laner kills. Supports will ward to prevent their mid laner and bot laner from dying to ganks, which again loses them resources. It's very much about resource distribution. So again, this is a similarity.
Yeah, and a key factor here, and a key reason why I think Trick's argument falls short is because when he gets a bronze account and he says, okay guys, I'm going to show you how to carry, look what I'm doing, look how I carry out a bronze. And he's like, I do it by getting all the resources myself. The important thing here is that he is a Masters player playing against bronze players. And so a Master player against bronze players should have all the resources because he is so surpassing the level of all those other players, right? He should be getting all the resources. That makes sense. But he's giving advice to bronze players in bronze. He's giving advice to silver players in silver. And no matter what they think, if they have a decent number of games and they're in the rank they are, if you've got a decent number of games, you're in the rank you are, unfortunately that's about your level. You might be a little bit better than the guys in your game, might be a little bit worse than the guys in the game, but you'll all be roughly quite similar levels. That you might play way better than one guy in one game, but like, I'm way better than this guy, but next game that guy might play better than you. Over 100 games, you'll have similar win rates. Therefore, Trick's argument doesn't really work there because unfortunately you are around the same level as the other 9 people in every game you play. You've played a lot of games of League probably. It's then more carries over between seasons. This is around the level you should be at. There's exceptions like smurfing and stuff, but this is usually advice you can people in the game. So on that level, this idea of you being the only person you can carry, you being the most important person, the only one you can trust, and in reality you're going to make approximately the same number of mistakes as your other teammates. You're going to make approximately the same number of good plays. You'll remember the good plays more, you'll probably forget the mistakes more easily. But you're around their same level. So on that level, you don't have that extra level of skill that justifies having all these resources funneled into one of your players. If you were the manager, let's say you were the manager of these 5 guys, there's no obvious reason for you to say, well, I think we should be funneling all the blue balls into Boofles, because Boofles is this great jungler. Whereas in reality, he's looking, because Andrew can't play jungle.
in-game name.
Yeah, I can't play jungle.
Yeah,
you as a manager would have no reason to think that because you're looking at all the numbers like these guys are all pretty similar players.
Yeah,
but you think as that manager, where do you want to be distributing these resources?
Yes, and again, we're not saying here again. It's very much the epitome of the counter argument is that like you are as good on average as the people in your game. Like we're not saying necessarily you are. You might be a bit better, and that's why you are climbing with a 60% win rate, with a 55% win rate, whereas other people are sitting around there with a 50% win rate. And you might be better, or in one particular game. You might have the variance against you. So the other people on your team might be slightly worse than you. They might have a slightly worse win rate, might be slightly lower level, whatever. One person might have a slightly lower win rate, other people might have better win rates. So again, we're not saying flat bar line, we're completely countering this whole mentality of you have to carry by saying that you are completely the same as every other player in every game you play. You should always distribute in X way that we're about to give you. We're not saying that. What we're saying is you need to be aware that resource distribution is not something that is, again, like TrickGG would say, it is completely modular, it's completely polarized. You will always do X. And so what he's saying is you will always take all resources. We're not countering that by saying you should always not take all the resources, whatever, you should always give them equally to every player on your team. What we're saying is you have to make value calls. You have to make judgments. In some games, resources will be more valuable to you. In some games, they'll be more valuable to other players. In some games, players will be better. Some players will be worse. It's all about making value judgments and understanding it. So again, there might be a position where your mid laner is 5-0, and but he's on, let's say, something like Syndra, super blue buff reliant, and but he's popping off, and he's like 1v2 and even the jungler's coming, and he's kind of like fighting them off, and he's getting a lot of pressure, but he's still managing to perform. Like this is obviously a super extreme situation, but this is a great situation where you do want to be blue buff. The next game, same player might be playing Zed mid. He's also popping off, but you're playing Fiddlesticks jungle because you picked an AP jungler because you picked Zed mid, and they're starting to stack armor. But Zed mid does do well with blue, but you might need it because you need to snowball other lanes, because you need to clear your jungler faster, etc. And in that case, you might take it. Or in another game, he might just be doing terribly, and you might be like, well, he did terribly. He did well out of those other games, but he's just not as strong on this champion. He's not playing well. Again, like it's unlikely you're gonna get the same player 3 games in a row and be able to make judgment calls based on their past behavior. But it's all about games are all different. They play out differently. As I was saying to Andrew before the podcast started, people don't have predetermined destinies in their games. They're not always going to die at 10 minutes. They're not always going to die at 20 minutes. You might give, let's say, for example, your mid laner blue buff, and they might die 2 minutes later, and you're like, what? I just gave them blue buff and they died 2 minutes later. I'm never giving them another blue buff again. Well, like, they might have died earlier, first of all, if you didn't give them blue buff. They might have died twice if you didn't give them blue buff. Or, alternatively, what would you have gotten out of getting that blue buff? Because if you wouldn't have gotten anything out of getting that blue buff bar 90 gold, then it's still probably better on them because it helps them so much in lane. So it's all about, determining where value lies and how much it's applicable, and not just making, polarized decisions before you even get into game.
Yeah, and something we've said a few times in this podcast, I think it's worth reiterating for this one in particular, is a way of viewing the other 4 players in your team when you get into a game. Actually, the other 9 players in a game when you get into one. And you basically see them as just a number, a variable. And they're basically their variants. So, think about a game like poker. In poker, let's say one individual hand of poker, you draw your hand, and then I don't play poker, and whatever gets ripped off the flop or the river or whatever, that and the cards in your hand and the cards in everyone else's hands, that's the variance in that game. Basically, that is how lucky you've gotten in this one hand. You play as well as you can for every hand, and then how well you play in this hand, how well you can judge whatever the correct moves to make are, combined with how good your hand is, how good everyone else's hand is, will result in the result. And while people do tilt a hell of a lot in poker, that is almost easier to accept than the idea that...
Because it's so obvious.
It's easier to accept, than the idea that these 9 other players and all these individual things they do it's pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much the cards that have been dealt.
It's like
that. Whereas but people see it, they see the human element. They see why can't you be better? Why can't you do whatever they do, whatever mistakes they make, whatever they do correctly, and whatever decisions they make in a different way. All this is outside your control, just like those cards were. And all you can do is play your cards as well as you can, play your champions as well as you can. And it seems kind of like a sermon thing, but it's really it's a cold mechanical way of viewing the game. That's the variance, that's your way of playing. And that's how you should view League in general, but I think it's interesting viewing in terms of this topic. That if you can just view your teammates in this kind of cold way, you can see that's going to help you decide how you want to distribute your resources to them.
Yeah, and obviously, it's easier to see the popping up of variance when, let's say, you draw your first hand in Texas Hold'em and you have 2 aces, and the cards haven't been dealt yet, and you're like, and you beautifully bluff everyone into just going all in off at 2 aces, and you're like, hell yeah, but then 3 2s are flipped and someone else has a 2 in their hand. Like, that's the big example of variance. Obviously, you could be like, well, there's nothing I could do about that. It was a great hand to go bluffing everyone all in on, but I still lost it. And whereas in League, I'm not going to say there's so many more things going on, because poker is a very complicated game. There's a lot of human interaction and bluffing and all that kind of stuff. But it's much harder to see because, again, it's 5 different players. There's all these different resources being allocated at different points in the game. Very complicated. So it's definitely harder to see, and it's very easy to make kind of retroactive judgments against stuff like, I gave him blue, he died, shouldn't have given him blue, because there's a lot more going into the fact that he died than the fact that you gave him blue. Giving him blue might have still put him far ahead in the game of his opponent later, but he might have been unlucky with a couple of ganks, or he might have played a couple of ganks badly. But the fact that he was ganked multiple times isn't to do with the fact that you gave him blue. The fact that you gave him blue might have still been a positive choice, and you just make the positive choices you can make based on the resources that you have, and those will enable you to give yourself the biggest winner you can with the resources that you have. But
and also, if you're one of those junglers that every time you give a middle laner blue buff, you say to yourself, "Oh, if he dies, you're gonna find that in a lot of situations you're gonna be like, "Oh, I can't believe it, I predicted it," because that's confirmation bias. That's you saying, "Oh, if this thing happens, I swear to God." And then if you're doing it every time, then people are it's gonna die. Also, you're gonna die when you take your blue buff, but you're gonna forget about that because you're gonna say, "Well, you know what? I got it up." You're like, "This guy flashed like." Who knew he had flash? Who knew his ult was so? Something like that. Yeah. You're not having an excuse for yourself. You won't have an excuse for him because you already have said to yourself, if this middle laner, if he dies after I give him blue buff, I'm gonna.
And it's not to say that you're toxic for, let's say, before you give him blue buff, looking at how well he's doing in the game, and that's actually just making a deterministic judgment. Like, it is toxic to be like spamming with pings or getting annoyed at him for dying. Again, it's all about making decisions when you have that decision to make, but not thinking about it otherwise and not making calls otherwise in the game in relation to it.
So pinpointing on the kind of more specific stuff to do with League then. You want to talk about red buff a little bit?
Yeah, so this is to do with the actual resources themselves. So we already mentioned what they are. So they're obviously XP, gold, and buffs. So these are the 3 resources in League of Legends. There aren't any other resources unless you're trying to go really abstractly into what resource is. What is a resource? Is it to do with positioning? Is positioning a resource? Having a good position, is that a resource itself? No. Like, we're gonna break it down. So Yeah, so big resources are exactly buffs, blue buff, red buff. Rift Herald used to be a big resource, now it's not really a resource. Baron buff is a resource. Gold, XP are the big ones. So these come up fairly often in terms of, they come up fairly often. They're always there in every game, all the time. But the choice of distribution with relation to them isn't something that always comes up. So often enough you'll just be laning, etc., and it won't come up as much. But yeah, so a really good example of resource distribution, again, I think the best way to talk about it, just to give examples, is like with red buff, giving it to your AD carry, let's say. And basically, again, you might be a red buff jungler, someone like Graves who's very reliant on red buff to gank successfully because he doesn't have any other CC or any other slow or whatever. And so in that case, it's very much a big decision to give it to your AD carry. And often in games you'll see people will only give their AD carry red buff when it hits late game, when it hits like a few items, 3-4 items even, and it'll just be like, I just give AD carry red buff. And this is what I'm kind of talking about with generally people will give buffs away, or give waves, or give XP, in pretty good situations because they kind of understand it from past experience. They understand this has worked. Or they'll watch pro games and they'll see, oh look, the top laner's splitting. It's not really taking any towers, but he's splitting, so I should probably be doing that, or whatever. We're giving an AD carry solo XP, or we're giving our mid laners behind. We're just going to let him split for a bit and get solo XP. But they don't really know why they're doing it. And that's again why we often have these discussions in the podcast. But yeah, so red buff is a big example because I think it's said that often people don't give it soon enough. That's something my personal opinion. So again, it's a resource, and it's an interesting one because red buff is quite specific on how that resource manifests itself. So red buff isn't the 90 gold. The 90 gold isn't big, or the whatever quarter level of XP at like level 6 or something. It's not big, so you're not giving it away generally for the gold or XP. People don't give it away and say, sometimes similars will take buffs if they're so far behind in XP that they need to. But generally you're giving away for the on-hit effect, the burn, the slow. So again, this is very dependent on how the game's going. You don't want to give to your AD carry every game when they hit 4 items. You might be playing a Kindred jungle, you might be playing a Grave jungle, you might be fed, you might be perfect for applying it multiple times. But again, if your AD carry is behind, and you're I'm thinking like a Sejuani jungle, who has plenty of built-in slows, isn't going to be auto-attacking too much, and you have a Caitlyn AD carry who has her attack speed items built, she'll just be applying it so much more. So it's a great resource for her. Doesn't matter if she's out 6, doesn't matter if she's out 10, she'll still be applying it plenty. And doing work in a fight even when she mightn't before because she doesn't have any items. So I think
so it's kind of like you want to skip past the sort of normative way of looking at things where it's like late game I give uncritically thinking that late game I give the red buff to the AD carry, early game, mid game I don't. But if you can look at it critically and say, well, why am I giving the red buff to the AD carry? And saying like, well, it gives them these things that I don't get. It's like, okay, well in that case, on the situation I can give it away earlier to the AD carry. Like, people don't usually give red buff to AD carry at this time for lots of reasons, but if the situation is there and they're nearby, you can say, take this, get that advantage in lane. Yeah. You're getting advantage, other people don't, because other people approach it uncritically and they say, that's my buff there, I want to kill it. You can approach it critically and say, well, why am I giving this, why am I doing this, and then say, well, actually I don't need it right now, I can just give it to the AD. Alternatively, it could be late game and you could have like a Jhin AD carry who both doesn't need red buff that much, and you could be playing, as you said, kind of Graves or something. At that point, maybe Graves just wanted a bit more. Yeah. Or maybe Kindred would be a better idea. But just situations like that, or you've got some mid laner that might want red buff more, or generally looking at things, that's more like an overallistic way of looking at the game, which you want to sort of abandon sometimes these heuristics that basically say rules of thumb sometimes. Because rules of thumb are useful up to a certain point.
Yeah.
And they teach you the rules, but what you can get that extra edge when you know how to break them.
Yeah. And
this is one of the things red buff will be most interesting, because people don't think that much about red buff. They kind of think, early mid game I take it.
Again, I think a really good example of kind of understanding the distribution of resources is Ivern, or Ivern, because the fact that he can both take a buff for himself and give it to anyone else on his team he wants. So, like, let's say Ivern takes a red buff and the red glowy thing is around the red buff, and either his mid laner or his bot laner can take it. Like, that's a big example of like, obviously generally it's just like whoever's closest will take it in solo queue, but again, we're talking about like the fine lines when you can break the rule, when you should know what the best call is. And again, if you know what the best call is in every one of these situations, chances are you're giving yourself a pretty big edge. So again, it's like, does my bot lane take it? Does my mid laner take it? There are plenty of examples where either player should take it. And again, it's all about thinking about where it's going to be best applied, how it will work. Again, your bot lane may be slightly harder to find, but red buffs gives you now also a fair bit of sustain. So that might be really useful for him surviving lane, as well as possibly giving him quite a big advantage. You know, he might be level 4, and he might be killed down, but that red buff is like the equivalent of like a couple of kills, especially that early in long fights bot lane. So yeah, it's all about understanding those situations and understanding why you're doing what you're doing, even if you're only doing it because, you know, it's habit.
Yeah, so it kind of plays into having a plan, which we talked about in one of our early episodes. You can find on our Zengled. And it's something that having a plan kind of factors into most of our episodes these days. It's really that it's basically that idea you kind of want to be thinking actively about what you're doing and not going kind of silently just going through the motions. You want to have an idea of why you're doing things and why you're doing things. And if you're having a plan, it could be things like, well, if we want to win this game, our Vayne needs to be able to kite that Jax that keeps going on them. And so, therefore I give her a red buff, even though you give her a red buff anyway. But something like that, or our Jax, okay, better
example.
example.
She's a mechanical genius, maybe.
Or maybe, better example, our Jax, we want to be able to chase down the Vayne. So we want to give our Jax the red buff instead of giving our Caitlyn the red buff, maybe. Yep. Because their Vayne is going off, and our Jax is the best way of getting rid of that Vayne. So you've kind of formulated this plan of saying, well, how do we lose this team fight? Their Vayne goes off. How do we win this team fight? Our Jax can chase down that Vayne. He's the only one strong enough to catch up to her. How can you best catch up to her? Because Jax is his biggest weakness is being kited. Well, if we can give him an extra summon or go attack, that'll help. So we give our Jax the red buff. And so this idea of having a plan can factor into so many things. That's what resource distribution really is about. Or things like, big thing with resource distribution going away from buffs, moving into golden XP. Let's say in that situation, like, well, we really need to be able to compete with this Vayne by catching up by getting more power into our AD carries so we can compete in a team fight. So we need to kind of back the hell up mid lane as 4 and have our Caitlyn go bot lane, give her some solo waves, so she can get solo XP and she can get all that gold, and we can be ready to kind of go down and protect her if she's side laning as a Caitlyn if they jump on her. But we want to be able to get her up and strong, so we need to distribute this resource, all that gold, all that XP from bot lane, to her, not have everyone else go down randomly. Have this plan of we need to get her ahead, we need to get our Caitlyn up. You're not saying to yourself, well, I need this because I'm the best. You're not saying this because I need this because I can't trust this Caitlyn. You're saying because, well, we just need her to have more damage. If she can auto attack in a team fight and she has the infinite age that she doesn't currently have, that's going to be better than if she didn't have it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that example is particularly evident in like when, let's say, your bot lane is behind and they lose their first tower quite early, and their bot lane rotates mid and tries to pressure down your mid tower. So often enough, what you'll see people do is your bot lane will just sit bot, the two of them, and they'll kind of try to push in towards the tower, but then they'll be like, oh, we pushed the lane to the tower, but now we have to go mid, and then they'll run mid, and then they'll kind of stop it, and it'll be really messy, and you'll probably lose your tower after a couple of pushes. So often enough, what is really good to do this, and you'll see like higher elo what people will do, is they'll just leave their bot lane. Let's say if their AD carry is really far behind, they'll just leave their AD carry bot, and they'll kind of freeze it in towards their tower, their tier 2. So it's hard enough for them to die, especially if they're like a Caitlyn or something, and they can kind of solo farm, get that XP, get that gold, and their support can go mid and help stop the push, because it's not too hard to stop a push with 3 people if you have 2 people, especially if you have a nice wave clear or mid like Victor or something. In fact, it's almost impossible for them to push down, and chances are after they try that, they'll have to rotate back bot, or they'll have to try to make another play. And it's all about countering that stuff really well. Specifically with like solo XP and gold, another really good example I think of that is when your bot lane takes the tower, and then what your bot lane does is they try to do that. And if the opponents are smart, they will either go mid, or one of them will go mid, and the other one person will be bot. And it's kind of hard to push down the tower that early when it's like 3v3 or 3v2, especially if they have a wave clear, or even if it's just 3v3 and they don't have a wave clear. It's almost impossible. So often what people will do, what smart players will do, is their mid lane, and also you'll be sharing XP, you'll be sharing gold. It's very messy. What smart people will do is they'll send their mid laner, especially if he's like an assassin or something, to the bot lane, and he will solo push. And he can hold versus the 2 people because, again, chances are they're behind, or even if not, he can kind of just solo farm versus them. He's not under, bot lanes don't have very much kill pressure, 99% of
it's
the time.
Zed or something, he'll be able to kill them.
And he'll be able to like almost 1v2. I've done this so much when I'm like 0-1 on Zed, and I'll go bot versus their whatever 1-0 or 0-1 bot lane, and you can still win that fight. And also getting that solo XP and gold is so crucial to maintaining a strong advantage and to maintaining your power, or even getting that power. You might be behind. And whereas if their mid laner stays mid, they'll be sharing XP, sharing gold, and they'll fall behind. And again, just as much as allocating resources are important, losing resources and wasting resources is as detrimental. So if a big wave's crashing into a lane, instinctively you're like, I have to get that big wave. That's because you're losing all that XP in gold. But often enough you'll be wasting smaller, again, even just like not last hitting minions correctly is a great example of just like missing free resources. We've talked about that before. But definitely that's a really good example of kind of gold XP and kind of swapping and rotating correctly in order to get the maximum out of it.
Yeah, and you want to keep power spikes in mind for these sort of things. So what most people do, to be fair, is when they're about to take a wave, like kind of mid to late game, and another person's going with the wave, the other person pings at their 300 gold or something off their Infinity Edge, you got to go, okay, they'll back off. We want this guy to get Infinity Edge. If they do, the team folk a lot better. Another way of looking at this in a slightly less obvious way would be, well, I'm 800 gold off my Void Staff. I think right now, if there's 800 gold going on the map, it should be funneled into me. Because once I get this Void Staff, that'll significantly help our team fights if I'm some sort of AoE mage or something. Or anything really.
Yeah.
Any mage.
Anyone that fails Void Staff, I think.
Yeah, so at that point you might be thinking, well, we want to hold off on team fights and stuff. Because this 800 gold is going to make a big difference. We need to get this 800 gold as quickly as possible. I'm just going to go top lane, I'm going to go bot lane, something like that. Obviously, we've talked before about not doing things to the detriment of your whole team. If there's a Baron push, you need to go bot lane. But it's more just as a general idea of, at that point, you want to be switching your attention towards quite a selfish element. You're saying, well, how quickly can I get this 800 gold and how can I get it?
Yeah.
And that's by going by the solo wave or doing this. Doing things that you might not normally do, taking maybe a bit of an extra risk, because if you can get this as quickly as possible, you can all group up and then you can fight immediately. That's a power spike you've gotten. Just like you've let that person take that wave, you've kind of done the opposite here. You've gone to get that go for you as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and we have written down here taxing, because I actually thought it was a pretty good example of resource allocation. I'm actually thinking about it now, Andy was talking about it again. It's not a great example because generally people aren't that bad. I think taxing has kind of people just say like, oh, taxing, like tax my wave. Whereas in reality, very rarely junglers do actually like tax and by tax I kind of mean coming into your wave and just taking minions from you. Most of the time it's in order to push. But I mean, even thinking about
that though, like most of the time, just to explain that, it's to push away.
So taxing basically what it is the idea that junglers come into your wave, into your lane, and they take minions, they take gold, they take farm, they take XP. But again, almost never happens unless they're trolling, in which case it doesn't really matter. Resource allocation isn't something you should be splitting hairs about. But yeah, so normally...
what's happening is that they're pushing, you get a kill or something, and then what's important at that point is to get the wave pushed into their tower as quick as possible so you can back, so the jungle can go off, do something else. The junglers can come and kill you, and they're helping you, guys. Don't ping your jungler away like mad if they're killing things after the security kill, or even if they didn't security kill. If they're a person so low that you need to push in to dive, or to push them out of the lane or something. If the wave needs to be pushed, the jungler should be pushing with you. It's not taxing. You shouldn't be leaving every last hit to you. With what matters is the speed at which you push, then they should be pushing with you.
Yeah, and again, it also deny resources to the opposing laner. So even if you lost a wave, because you did lose a wave, strictly speaking, they also lost a wave, so you're not down any XP or gold on them. Plus, they have lost a wave as a team, and your jungler has gotten away. So it's just a free wave, basically, in terms of your team's bar of resources versus their team's bar of resources. So yeah, taxing isn't really something that happens. I mean, I guess you could kind of think about it in basically, you get a kill, you and the jungler are both pushing the wave. I guess if you need, again, an item or something, or you almost have some amount of gold, just like let your jungler know and they won't try to last hit that wave. They'll kind of make it nice and low for you and try to give it to you. But 99% of the time, junglers aren't horrible human beings. I mean, if it's a horrible human being and he's trolling, he's taking stuff like, resource allocation isn't something you should go, well, I don't think you're maximising your win rate there. Obviously he's not. And again, I think that really does filter in nicely to the idea of tilt, because I think that's a really big one when it comes to resource allocation, not giving blue buffs, not giving red buffs, taking red buffs, taking blue buffs from the jungle on the other side of the map. If you're top lane, just walk to his red buff and take it because it's up and you're behind. Tilt is a big old factor when it comes to that, and how, while it might negatively affect your team's win rate when it comes to resource allocation, it might be the correct resource allocation, it might really affect one of your teammates' play because he might be super tilted off it.
And this is what surprised me, because everyone seems to ignore this all the time. They just act like tilt is this, it's like a moral issue. A lot of this conversation sounds like we're kind of speaking like morally, like ethically, what should we be doing? We should be distributing everything equally so everyone's an equal. That's not what this is about. It's about maximizing your winner. And people talk about, I don't care if I tilt my teammate because, I should be getting this blue buff. It's like, you don't want to tilt your teammates because your tilted teammates are going to play worse. Whether or not they just blew up because of one blew up, chance have other things, but you're not helping. You don't want to do this. You're losing percentage by making your teammates play worse. By tilting them, you're losing. You're making it worse for yourself. Like you're losing that win rate. That's what matters. It's not about kind of like it's like, oh, I felt guilty, but I did it anyway. It's like it's like what people do all the time, where it's kind of mid-late game, probably late game. People kind of people going around like taking camps and stuff like, and then like the Ezra shoots a Q to like hit the wolf as the person's about to fight again, and they kill. And they're like, and this person, this Ezra, has not been flaming this other person. They've been doing nothing wrong. It's just his instinct to take things, and the other person can blow out. They're like, they might have been like holding it in, like holding their rage, and then they're just like, it creates a bad feeling.
It's just like,
why
an
are you doing that
annoyance
to me?
Yeah,
it's like that's not what you want. That's gonna make people want to surrender about earlier. And like just kind of having some little bit of like solidarity, some kind of like having a bit of solidarity in your team, having everyone kind of on some sense not hate each other can make it a lot easier to fall behind and still feel like you can come back. Like the mental element is a real thing. It's not some like ephemeral like ethical issue that you can really question. Like, should I have done that? Will I go to heaven now?
And like if you justify, you're like, yeah, I should have taken that blue. Like, okay, but like on the other hand, is your teammate currently AFK because of it? Like, you're not justified to be like, well, I lost that game because my teammate was tilted. Like it's like something I had no control of. Like in that case, you did. I know in an awful lot of our episodes we do discuss the whole tilt aspect, and I feel like we have 50 episodes at this point just directly on tilt. But like again, though we are going over all these little hair splits, and we're going over like why you should know what you're doing when you're doing it, why you shouldn't just go by rule of thumb, why you should know all these different shaving off these fractions of win rates. I guarantee you, AFK teammates, tilted teammates, not AFK teammates, sorry, that's actually not that usual, but just tilted teammates who don't care to an extent about the outcome of the game because you do stuff like that will. Like, you're losing massive chunks of win right there, as opposed to the tiny ones that you're gaining by allocating resources efficiently. So if you're like, if you make a judgment and this guy's like, I really need this blue buff, please give it to me. Like, give it to him. Like, if it's not like a massive deal, if it is to be like, sorry, I really need it, or if you think, if you think you can take it, then it's okay. But if you know he's going to get tilted, or you think he's going to get tilted, or there's a chance, a reasonable chance that you're going to tilt him off the face of the earth, like make the right call, because you have a often, like we said before about your teammates tilting and teammates toxicity, your own tilting. Just as you have control over your own tilting, you also can help teammates be in an environment where people aren't being stupid and taking camps. And like as a jungler, I know it's just the worst feeling. Again, like that Ezra just throws a Q and you're just like, I was just hitting like, especially when you're playing like a tanky jungler, which I don't really do, but you are, and you've been hitting this camp, you've been slapping it for like the last 10 seconds, and just Ezra just walks past 2 fires at it, and you're like, well, at least I got the small wolves. At least I got that 10 XP. Like,
and like even if you come to decisions like, okay, you still want to take the blue, just like type a note saying like quickly just like, sorry, I need it. And like, loads of people do that, but a lot of people also let the other person like bring it down and then just smite it and then just go off, and they're just like, just don't say a word. It's like,
again, that might be true of your own tilt, yeah.
You can be the lone wolf. You can have this idea of you as the person who's carry. You don't need anyone else and stuff like that. That people just like that idea of them. It's totally cute, but just like you're not helping yourself by just like making people like pissed off at you. Like you're not. It's bad for you.
To be honest, if TrickTG is saying yes, take every blue buff, every camp, every bit of gold in bronze, I feel like he's not that good. If he has to take absolutely everything to carry in bronze, I feel like he can give away a blue buff for 2 in bronze and still carry if he's a Masters player.
He does it in Masters as well, but
yeah, I don't think he's Masters. I think he's like down 5 now. He normally does his little spectate sub.
This isn't even like a diss episode directed for 2G because like he dissed Arctic. He's actually it's an okay dude, but I just that way of looking at the game really.
Yeah. I think that's what we're just talking about is the whole thing.
Yes. So
that's about it. I think we returned gloriously.
Yes. So some shout outs if you want to catch us. Okay, I remember all these. So we're on SoundCloud. All our older episodes are on there as well. I'm not sure when we started doing YouTube. It's like 20. I don't know what episode. Like 20 or something. But it's all our old ones on SoundCloud. You can go find them all there, or all the new ones are being released on SoundCloud as well in pure audio form. And as I said earlier, if you leave us a review on iTunes, it's hugely appreciated. It's the best way to kind of get the show out there. We'll read it out on the podcast. Hopefully, we won't wait 2 months to do it next time. You can interact with us on SoundCloud and Gmail. We're like. The powdercakepodcast@gmail.com. We're on Gmail. We're on Twitter at powdercakecast. You just reach us on all these different places if you want to chat, if you want to ask us questions about League.
Yeah, summer's coming up. Yeah. We'll be more free, and if you actually want us to look your RPG or something, we're not Unreal players, but I think our knowledge of the game is better than our mechanics are at this point.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, so again, we hope you enjoyed the episode, and we will see you next week most definitely.
Bye.